It's going to be less than 24 hours where these two high school football players actually go on trial there in Steubenville, Ohio, for rape. Now, this is the image that I'm talking about with Christy that we just cannot get out of our minds. Now, this is in addition to the video, by the way. The two accused teens, Malik Richmond and Trent Mays, are carrying this unconscious 16-year-old girl. And it's disturbing that someone even took this picture. And now we just got word that the attorney for one of the teenagers wants this case thrown out. He says that Malik can't even get a fair trial, and here's why. The lawyer says that the victim's friends live in West Virginia, and that's right across the state line from Steubenville, and he wants them to testify. Now, the friends don't want to testify, and a judge says that they don't have to. Let's get to our Jean Caceres, who is following this story for us. So, you know, Jean, does the lawyer have a point here?
Walter Madison is the lawyer, and he, on behalf of Malik Richmond, filed this motion to dismiss. And I think he does have a point, but there is another side to this, too. The witnesses that he has designated as critical witnesses for the defense, they are the best girlfriends of the accuser. He's also subpoenaed the accuser. And remember, they're all juveniles, and so it's their parents in West Virginia that will not allow them to testify, and the West Virginia judge says that he will not compel them either. And I just got off the phone with Walter Madison, and he told me that as a parent, he understands completely. He understands these parents not wanting their children to have to testify, but he represents the defendant, Malik Richmond, who is not only facing a conviction as a rapist in juvenile court, but he would be a convicted sex offender for the rest of his life. So there are a lot of lives here that are at stake.
Well, and apparently these kids say they were being threatened by Anonymous, this group that actually released the videotape of these boys laughing about this alleged rape.
Exactly. They don't want to come forward because of the pressure on them to testify for the defendant in this case. And what we believe these best friends would say is that the accuser in this case knew she was going to the party, knew she wanted to hook up with some guys, and that's important to the defense because the whole issue here is consent. The accuser is 16 years old, Malik Richmond is 16 years old, and that is the age of consent in Ohio. So the issue is, did she consent to this by her actions, by her words at all, or as the photo shows, she was not able to consent to this.
Right.
She was absolutely out of it.
And Malik Richmond actually spoke on Good Morning America today. I was really surprised to see this interview. He said that that picture of the 16-year-old girl was a joke and that he didn't rape her. Take a listen.
After that, I didn't think it was fun, but at first, during that moment,
in the moment,
yes.
It was a joke picture.
Yes, ma'am.
So you weren't carrying her out?
No. My friend texted me, and he said that she's saying that you guys raped her.
What did you think when you read that?
And I just texted him, like, what are you talking about? You're playing. Stop playing with me.
So, Dr. Tiff, let me ask you, because the defense claims that this rape victim first said that she wasn't raped. Now she's saying that she is raped. So how common is it for victims in a situation like this to change their story?
I think it's very common. First and foremost, this is a 16-year-old girl, and most teenagers lie. They do. This is what we do. When you're doing something, when you're somewhere you're not supposed to be, if you're not supposed to be at that party, if you're doing something at said party that you're not supposed to be doing, like drinking, if you're having sex, whatever it is, you're going to lie if you know that you could get in trouble for it. So that, in and of itself, is very common. Add on top of that the fact that I was raped. I was touched inappropriately. I was sexually assaulted. There's a lot of shame, embarrassment, guilt. All of that compounds the feelings that this young lady must be having. And of course, yeah, no, if I hadn't, and it's total victim mentality to blame yourself as well.
Right.
So you start to think, okay, well, had I not been there at the party, had I not drank, had I not said X, Y, and Z that I shouldn't have said to these random people, all this wouldn't have happened to me, so this is my fault. So it doesn't surprise me that she might change her story a little bit.
I think one of the things today, that's the Today Peg, that is disturbing to people is the fact that this case might just be thrown out. Jean, Jean, based on what you're seeing, what is the, the plausibility that this case would be thrown out? And if it is, does that just mean it's done? There's no repercussion whatsoever?
We're not going to stop talking about it, that's for sure. The conversation still needs to be had.
First of all, I want to say this is penetration by fingers with Malik Richmond, which does not make a difference under the law. I think there are some lesser alternatives that the witnesses could be in private so no one sees them when they testify. There are some lesser alternatives here, but the issue is a right to a fair trial, and everyone does have that.
And I'm just thinking, as a parent, I see that picture, and if that were my daughter, I would lose my mind.